That was Simon.
Piggy? Huh? That was murder.
It was dark. We were scared.
It was dark. There was that bloody dance.
I wasn't scared. You were scared.
It wasn't what you said.
We were there. We didn't do anything about it.
It was an accident.
It was an accident.
He was batty. He asked for it. It was an accident. Oh, God, I want to go home.
Who is Ralph from Lord of the Flies? Elected the leader of the boys at the beginning of the novel, Ralph is the primary representative of order, civilization, and productive leadership in the novel. Leadership is a complex role, especially for a kid. Ralph was portrayed in both the 1963 and 1990 films. Which one almost got it right? We'll start with 1963 Ralph, who does not have a fancy resume. He doesn't mention having any importance at his boarding school. He says his father is in the Navy. That's really all he's got.
Daddy's a commander in the Navy. One day when he gets leave, he'll come and rescue us.
To a kid like Piggy, who doesn't have a dad, this seems authoritative enough, and he's cool with being Ralph's political advisor. Ralph is smart and uses the conch as a symbol of order, establishing him as a leader.
I'm chief then.
The boys listen to Ralph for about a day. They help him build a camp and then a fire. Shit begins to hit the fan when Jack's agro team of hunters goes off to kill a pig and the fire goes out. Ralph takes it out on Jack like a wife whose husband forgot to take out the trash.
Let the fire out. We can light it up again.
Jack is an irresponsible tool. However, by not rejoicing in the kill, Ralph begins to separate himself from the group. He's a buzzkill, the antithesis of fun. 1963 Ralph does nothing to protect his political advisor. This is his response after Jack smacks Piggy.
That was a dirty trick.
He does Piggy even more dirty when Jack gives Ralph a huge chunk of pork and gives none to Piggy. Ralph doesn't share. Look at his face. His political advisor is starving to death. Wasting away. Ralph loses a lot of respect from the group after this. He lets Jack dominate his assembly and allows him to berate him in front of the other kids. Ouch.
The rules, you're breaking the rules. Who cares? Because the rules are the only thing we got. Bollocks to the rules.
1963 Ralph is a good kid. He loses control of the island because he's not politically savvy, unlike his adversary. Jack uses the imaginary beast to his advantage, creating conflict to further undermine Ralph.
On top, when Roger and me went on, he stayed back. I went too. After. I went on too, then I went away. So did you. Anyone who wants can come too. Jack!
Ralph shows up at Jack's feast despite looking like a loser. Wound up on testosterone and hallucinogenic drugs, he takes part in the killing of Simon. He then wakes up and cries about it the next morning. Even Piggy is over Ralph at this point. Ralph loses control of the camp, allowing Jack's merry band of thieves to pillage the place. He then takes his 3 remaining followers to the rocks to get Piggy's glasses back. 2 are taken hostage. 1 gets smashed by a boulder. All in all, it was a very unsuccessful trip. Ralph is all alone. He asks the twins to come with him and they say LOL, nope. Of course, the film ends with Ralph narrowly escaping Jack, who has suddenly gone psychotic and decided to burn the whole damn island down. At the end, Ralph cries over the loss of innocence and where he went wrong. 1963 Ralph had a good heart and he was very diplomatic. However, this allowed another leader to rise and displace him. Ralph failed to provide the food and security the boys needed. A theme in the book true to the character. Because of his refusal to stand up to Jack, 1963 Ralph looked weak in comparison. In terms of leadership, 1963 Ralph gets dogwalker. In contrast is 1990 Ralph, who has a tougher job ahead of him. While 1963 Ralph had to manage British baby boomer schoolboys, 1990 Ralph has hardened American kids from military school. You know who gets sent to military school? Punk-ass kids, that's who.
Shit, brain. No, wait, sucker! He took a shit in his pants and then sat in it.
1990 Ralph is different in that he was already in a leadership role with this group of boys. He was a colonel, just like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, he's a colonel. I vote for Ralph. Yeah.
Even Jack respects Ralph. When Jack loses the election, he does it respectfully. This was before Jack became possessed by a demon.
Colonel Ralph.
I guess she just won the election.
Back off, man. I'm sick of your shit and so's my gang.
So what in the hell did Ralph do to get to this point? Like 1963 Ralph, he rallied his tribe of degenerates to build a camp and make a fire. Unlike 1963 Ralph, he was very confrontational about Jack running around and having fun while Ralph was doing responsible things like playing the accordion.
1990 Ralph is more physically aggressive than his 1963 counterpart. He is physically stronger than Jack, especially when he's wielding a stick. The choreography on this stick battle is epic. Despite being a more experienced and physically dominant leader, 1990 Ralph still couldn't provide for his tribe. They all left him, and his political advisor still got squashed by a heavy boulder that was somehow pushed by a thin stick. Is 1990 Ralph a better leader than 1963 Ralph? Honestly, they're both terrible, but yes. 1990 Ralph managed to command a group of degenerate boys for the same length of time that 1963 Ralph commanded a group of choir boys. Granted, the end result was the same in both cases, but I might trust 1990 Ralph to wash my car.
Standing in the rain, with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket, it was a sold-out show. Heard the roar of the crowd, he could picture the scene.